Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 15. Alright, doing this on the first time slot on Saturday, and I'm actually recording it soon after, and I am doing this right before I need to run a session of Sword World. So, let's see if we can get this done. So our opponent here is Injured Cold, has 4 tanks, 2 healers, it looks like. 2 primary healers. There's some potential passive healers with Yulia here, as well as Lucretia. Really, most of this is not that dangerous. I mean, they have 1 assassin. There's, of course, SP Leon, who's always annoying. They have few people that have potential tank busters, but by themselves, they're generally not dangerous, and these particular ones I can probably take both on. There's, of course, being potentially stunned by Sherry here and then double tapped. And then there's this character, I can't remember. Was it Gustav? I think this is Gustav. It's been so long. I think I've used her like very, very long time ago, and I've never actually gone up against one. But Gustav is generally not that big of a deal, and she does require a little bit of setup to get her extra range. The other thing that stands out is the SP Ledin, because obviously he can do his get over here combo and kill something. Besides that, anyone that didn't watch my summon video, I did adjust the box. I went ahead and dropped Sherry and replaced it with Joa and Connie. And that's mainly because now she has the exclusive helmet that makes it so if Joa has the cloak active, anything within 2 spaces of him can't actually be guarded against any of Connie's moves. So it essentially makes her into a pseudo assassin. And honestly, I don't really use Sherry anyway. Anyway, with all that said and done, the other thing to point out is this: I believe both on camera and off camera, this is the first time I've ever done the Molten Core map. I mean, it's been around all this season. I never had it before. So I don't actually know too much about it. I know the lava in the middle is like a huge pain, supposedly. But beyond that, I don't really know anything about it. Anyway, my opponent opened with banning Christiane, which makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of magic here to deal with. So, yeah. It also does negate my Princess faction buff, which is a little annoying. So I go ahead and get rid of SP Leon, because his combo is pretty dangerous with Hand Grab Lightbringer. I do lose my Kyura and Rosenseal. They take their Kyura. I apologize if I say the wrong KA name. It's either Kyura or Kagura. I don't remember which one. Anyway, with that, I go ahead and ban their 2 healers. I was kind of shocked. I was like, okay, maybe my opponent's just going for rush. Maybe. I don't know. Because, like I mentioned, two healers, 4 tanks. So usually the point is you usually want to grab a healer. But nope. So I took out both healers. So I was now AoEs on the table, because now I can just wear them down with that. One hand grab Grin Shield. So now I have Holy buff and Strategic faction buff. Lose 2 more healers, including Tiaras here. So they actually left me with Liana, which gives me both Gospel and an Act Again. So, and as well as passive Dispel. So that actually, I don't really know what the purpose here was. With characters like Gustav, Bozel, as well as, you know, characters that can also put up a lot of debuffs. Really, they should have gotten rid of Liana, if anything. They went and grabbed SP Elwyn, which I'm completely okay with. At this point, I start getting rid of some tanks. I go ahead and get rid of Hilda, because obviously she can negate crits. And then I do rely on assassins. Get rid of Lucretia, because she is long range, does lots of debuffs, does AoEs, and she has a self-res. She's just kind of a pain in general. Go ahead and grab Liana. I lose Tatalia and Auden Kelmo. They go ahead and grab... I honestly don't remember the name of this character. Rosalia, I think it is. Yeah, Rosalia. Go ahead and get rid of 2 more of the 3 tanks. This pretty much means my opponent only has Lightbringer as a choice. Elwyn is a pain, like I mentioned before, because of his little get over here teleport shenanigans. And then, of course, Landius here is a problem because he does have passive ranged damage reduction. So getting rid of both of them is, I think, a pretty good call, and I'm not too worried about Lightbringer. Especially at this, well, there's still some holy around, but not too much. Go ahead and grab Silvaria. I was definitely tempted to grab Joe and Connie at this point, but I felt like, from what I saw in the box so far, I really felt like Silvaria would be pretty good sniping across the river of magma there. So I'll lose Illustrial and I'll lose Joe and Connie. I'm guessing my opponent went straight for these purely because they are strategic factions, because obviously they can be buffed by Grunt Shield. I had zero attention in grabbing Illustrial because there's obviously no grass or mountain or anything for her to actually use her exclusive on. So this leaves me with Pyrotess and Narm. They grab Lightbringer. At this point, I go ahead and get rid of their remaining holy factions, which wasn't really the main purpose. The main purpose was because Yulia can negate guard with her passive mobility down, and Sherry can stun. That was pretty much the pure reason. I was pretty confident I was going to be able to kill Bozel before he can reach me, and also in both cases I can negate majority of the status effects they can throw my way. Also, it's all magic, and Lightbringer's okay with dealing with magic. So I grabbed Narm. This is mainly just for the additional mobility. Also, since my opponent has no crystal barriers or any way of actually dispelling anything, Narm's actually a good call because I can just gradually put debuffs on everything and negate things like guard. Because she can do passive mobility downs. Anyway, our opponent here, Kyura. There you go. That's the name. And yeah, I did get the names right. Good. So let's take a look at the map because this is our first time dealing with it. So we got Magma, which I don't know the general stuff about it. We do have Bedrock as well. Stone Pillars. There are a Mountain Tile on some of these spots, which means Celestial can potentially use these to bypass guard, but it's not much. Let's be real. It's more than I expected, we'll put it that way. But anything that looks kind of like rocky magma stuff, but not full-on magma, it seems to be mountains. Alright, Kyura here went 3C Starshine and didn't actually bring the other guard bypass, instead went with the passive healing, which probably makes sense because my opponent doesn't really have any healing. Bozel went faction buff with 3C and Seal. Elwyn brought faction buff? Question mark? Doesn't he? What? So, I'm pretty sure his 3C, which I don't think it... So, yeah, his 3C gives a passive faction buff. Like, that activates at the very beginning of the game, of the battle. But, so there's no reason to bring Eternal Light if you have the 3C. In fact, it's better to bring the 3C because that 3C also acts as a Sword Soul. So, yeah, I don't know what the plan here was. It's definitely... I mean... Sorry, my brain is just melting at the sight. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm pretty sure my opponent right now only has 5 dots worth of skills on Elwyn right now. His Reign of Glory is 1. Eternal Light and Sword Soul are 2 each. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm pretty sure you have to have 3C to get SP Elwyn. I'm not actually sure what the requirements are. It's been so long since I've done SP classes. But yeah, this is nothing. He has to literally spend a round buffing himself. Lightbringer here brought Discipline, Light Flow, and her 3C. And then Rosalia here brought Holy Pegasus, which I don't usually see too often. It's not even a full Holy Pegasus. Yeah, this if it was a full Holy Pegasus, this would be 100%. So, yeah, it looks like my opponent's not fully leveled, which is still impressive because this is Gold 3, and my opponent is in this state. So the fact they got this far probably means something. Anyway, now I'm just curious. Okay, those are normal. I think this is normal. SPL one has to be 6 stars, I believe. Lightbringer. Yeah, that seems to be normal as well, and I'm pretty sure Rosalie is probably normal. Yeah, I think so. Okay, anyway, back to us. Leona, Shrine Maidens, 3C, heal, and act again. I brought Phalanxes with Lightbringer. Honestly, I should... Yeah, actually, Phalanxes was the good call, because obviously Elwyn. Same skill kit as my opponents. Savaria, I brought Disarm. 3C Sneak as usual with Deck Gunners. We got Grenshield here with the usual kit with Air Slash and War Falcons. And then we got Narm here. In hindsight, I actually forgot. So the reason why I brought Narm was to bring Sprint, and I completely forgot to switch in Sprint. Just flat out forgot. I mean, I didn't really need it too much. It was just going to give a little extra mobility to Grenshield. But I did forget, which means I don't really have a way of buffing Narm except with Leona through either Act Again or Auto Creation. Alright, with all that said and done, I'm going to be pretty aggressive here, at least moving up to the pit here in the middle. So the key thing here is I really want to take out that Kyura, because that's really the only thing that could be any potential danger. Obviously being debuffed a bunch by Bozil is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So at this point I went ahead and just went pretty aggressive here. It is quite possible if my opponent was on his was paying attention, they could pull away Kyura and Bozil and just be out of range. Actually, in this current state, even if my opponent made every effort to move away from my Silvaria's range, I would still be able to snipe something. Usual counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 and 10's here. Okay, so yeah, actually if my opponent did spend these next 2 turns pulling Kyura and Bozil away, that would spare them from the snipe. Otherwise, I will be able to go ahead and go to town with Leona here. And yeah, so at this point I'm guaranteed to be able to kill at least a Bozil. Faction buff, of course, applies to himself and Kyura here. Exclusive does give me an attack buff, thanks to the Act Again. And yeah, like I mentioned before, I'm within direct hit range of Kyura and Bozil, mainly because I have the range bow. And my opponent goes ahead and opens with faction buff there, and so I was like, alright, well. Also, I completely forgot to turn on animations. Obviously, you know what's about to happen, though. So I need to do 10,000 damage directly to her. I do 30,000. And there you go, Kyura's down. And probably a good call. My opponent had literally no answer for this. I was just going to be able to stay back and snipe over and over again. And even if my opponent tries to push forward at all to try to, prevent the sniping, either by being too close, I would be able to just go in with Grenshield and throw the shield out and start killing things that way. And then Narm will be able to follow up. So it's just bad all around. And if my opponent stayed back, the miss would just eventually push them within range. So either way, my opponent was just screwed. There was literally no options. Anyway, quick and easy match, which is exactly what I wanted. So yeah, as I mentioned, I am in Gold 3. I was a little surprised that this match came up as my first match for Gold 3, because obviously Gold 3 tends to have all the nonsense meta junk. But yeah, we're in good shape. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to mention, for those who didn't see the summon video, excuse me, Lena is also probably something people may be throwing around in the future matches. That really depends on if they're willing to, star up the character or whatever. Lena can be kind of dangerous because of her just insane range and her rage mechanic, which seems like every collab character has. Anyway, with all that said and done, I am the Depressed Hero. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 15. I'll see you guys later.